What's going on, fam? I am Brooke Ashley, your self-care specialist, making sure that military matters in and out of uniform. I help military members to personally develop in the areas of mental health and wellness. And welcome to Mastering Mondays. So this week we're going to be talking about standards and decisions. Standards and decisions. But before we hop into that, I need you to go ahead and I need you to hit like. Then I also need you to share this if something resonates with you during this conversation. I also need you to make sure that you subscribe and tell others to subscribe, especially if you feel like this is a benefit to you and could be a benefit to someone else. And lastly, make sure you hit that bell to make sure that you receive notifications anytime we're putting out great content, family. I just want to make sure that we're all continuing to grow as we continue to prosper on our journeys. But I'm reminded of a time in my life where I really found myself struggling with my own self-esteem, self-confidence, or even more specifically, my body image. And I had friends who were, thick-witted, they fine as wine, they got the boobs, they got the butt, they got everything that they've been blessed with. And I used to feel really down and out because of being so slim and so slender. And it used to bother me so much to the point where I found myself trying to challenge myself to the wrong things. I got so distracted by trying to become someone that I wasn't, that I found myself being completely overwhelmed with this false sense of reality. So I started challenging myself to the wrong things. It played on the reverse psychology. It played on the struggle that I deal with when it comes to body image. So I started being more competitive, in my own mind, really. But I decided I'm gonna go ahead and gain some weight. I'm gonna go ahead and pack on, 10, 20 pounds. Oh yeah, I could do it. I've already proven to myself time and time again that I could take it off and I could put it on. I could do whatever I want to do because I'm fly, because I'm Brooke Ashley. And lo and behold, as I continued to do those things, I found myself feeling more lackadaisical. I was not happy. The weight didn't come on the way I wanted it to come on. I was sitting there thinking about surgeries, and I was thinking about how I felt like I wasn't attractive based on this standard that was really a false sense of reality that I had in my head. And so I found myself just changing to and fro like the wind. One moment I want to be slim and I was happy because I know that later on in life is going to really turn out well for me. On the other end, I found myself, feeling horrible and feeling like crap because I thought that I needed to have all the weight and be thick with it, when my frame clearly was never meant for that kind of activity. And so I bring that up because I found myself changing my standards. I found myself making decisions not of my own mind, but because of outside influences. So let that resonate with you for a moment. Standards and decisions, they are so personal. They're so personal. And so what I want you to understand when it comes to standards is, first and foremost, write this down: set your own. Set your own. Set your own standards. Because, see, we grow up in a society that tells us, it tries to tell us exactly how we should live, exactly what we should do, exactly how we should dress, the whole 9 yards. We are socialized and we are conditioned to believe certain things or hold certain standards that we don't even really actually believe in. And so my first words to you would be to set your own standards. Now, how does this relate to the uniform? Most of the time we get into the uniform and we we fall in love with this, once again, false sense of identity. We look for our identity in the uniform. Sometimes I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I didn't know. There were times when I didn't know exactly who I was, but because I was a military member, that gave me a sense of identity. But at the same time, I was completely lost with who Brooke was. You know what I mean? I didn't. I knew Cobbs, like I knew what was up with Cobbs, but I had no idea who I was as a person and what I brought to the table in the uniform as well as out of the uniform. And so the first thing I want you to really dive deep on is figuring out how to set your own standards. The way you go about doing that is look at the things that make you feel uncomfortable and look at the things that make you feel like you are flourishing. Look at the things that make you feel like crap, and then look at the things that make you feel like you are on cloud nine. And that right there will let you know where you stand. It's not rocket science. So what I need you to do is sit there and figure out what it is that you love, what comes simple, what is smooth to you, and what makes you feel safe and what makes you feel good. Those, my dear, are the baselines of your standards and how you carry yourself. Because the goal is to feel good. And the goal is to be able to maintain a high level of discipline with those standards. So if you feel like it's something that's completely unattainable, if you feel like this is something that's challenging you in a way that is not stretching you in a positive direction, then maybe, just maybe, that's something you might want to step away from and not have that as a part of your so-called standards. Next, I need you to take a look at your non-negotiables. You need to have a clear understanding of what your non-negotiables are. What do you mean by non-negotiables, Brooke Ashley? I'm glad you asked. All right, so non-negotiables are those portions of you, those standards within you that regardless of, if God himself came down, him or herself came down and tried to get you to move from this particular standard, you would really have a big problem with that. But non-negotiable is something that regardless of what you face, regardless of whom you face, regardless of what possibilities of reprimand you may face, you will not step away from that standard or that particular thought process or philosophy on life. And so I want you to take the time to figure out what are your non-negotiables. When it comes to my non-negotiables, I know that I'm a person that, I need time. I need to be able to connect with a person. I know that I am a person who chooses to be very honest and very straightforward, honest with myself, honest with others. And so if you try to put me in a position where I'm not able to truly be genuine and be myself and be, honest in the way that I choose to be honest, then that's something I can't roll with that. Like I can't, like, our energies are not gonna match. And so I need you to sit down and figure out what are your personal non-negotiables. Along with non-negotiables comes our boundaries. And so when you have those boundaries in place and you stand on them and you understand what they mean to you, then you get a better understanding of who you are as a person. And that builds your confidence and that helps you with your self-discipline. So understanding your non-negotiables is very important. Write this down as well. I need you to understand that your decisions are not predicated on the actions or inactions of others. Your decisions are not predicated on the actions or inactions of others. So understand that when you make a decision, stick to it. Now, if you decide to invite someone else, cool. But if they decide not to go, that don't mean you change your whole game up because someone else made their own decision. Like, you still go. You still do. And if they choose to join you later, then cool. But you got to understand that that's water under a bridge, honey. You can't allow someone else's decisions or someone else's actions or inactions to determine every single move that you make. Now, caveat, there are times when in the uniform, the decision makers, you're waiting on their determination. So in the uniform, there are levels to this. But at the end of the day, I need you to understand that your overall decision is not predicated on the actions or inactions of others. See, before a decision maker in a uniform makes a decision, you should already be prepared mentally on, okay, is this something that I can flow with or not? Is this something that I'm gonna, feel the need to raise my hand and say something and speak up? Or is this something that I'm just gonna go with because someone else says so? Like, there are times to challenge, and then there are times where you have to just follow a lawful order because it's just what we signed up for. But at the end of the day, your decision is still your decision. And in that case, you also made the decision to get in the uniform, knowing that there could be times when you have to follow the leader based on what they tell you. So those moments will come. But also understand that that was a decision too. So, 1, set your own standards. Make sure you're writing this in your notes. Set your own standards because that's going to help you to set your discipline in motion. 2, understand your non-negotiables. They're so important. I'm trying to told you. Understand your non-negotiables because those will help set your boundaries. Lastly, understand and know that your decisions are not predicated on the actions or inactions of anyone else. You make a decision, you stick to it. You see it through to the end, period. And so with that said, I challenge you because you know what? I used to sit with and I still do, an image on my desk. An image, and in this image, it's a garage with some luxury vehicles, some vehicles that I look forward to owning in the future. But I didn't have it up there to show off some vehicles. I had it up there to remind me, what level of service am I providing today? What level of service am I providing today? Am I providing the level of service that deserves this level of luxury? Or am I providing shitty service? And so I utilize that as my own mental reminder each day of who I am, the standard that I carry, and what kind of decisions I plan to make that day. Because I'm not going to sit and wait on someone else to determine what level of service I'm going to provide. And so I challenge you to find your own image. It could be a person, it could be things, it could be a dream house, whatever it is that's going to remind you of who you're working on becoming, so that you are constantly and consistently providing that level of service every day. Make sure you put that image in a place that you will see it each day while you're at work, home, everything. You should know what level of service you're providing, not only to others, but what standards are you upholding for yourself. It's really that simple. Now, it's not easy, but it's simple. So let's keep going and keep growing in the direction that's going to set you up for success in and out of uniform. And that's going to help you to lessen the stress around you, so that you can become your best self. All right. But I want to remind you, make sure you make sure you share this. If you find it beneficial to yourself and you can see it being beneficial to someone else, make sure you share this video with them. Next, I need you to subscribe. Hit the button that you can receive notifications of any time great content is put out, so that you can continue to grow in and out of uniform. And lastly, I need to remind you that you matter. It's Brooke Ashley. Peace.